This call is now being recorded.
So today we see about the AC series motor. So in that AC series motor, we learn about the introduction of AC series motor, then construction, working principle, speed load characteristic, advantage, disadvantage, and applications of AC series motor. So first we see about the introduction of AC series motor. So the universal motor is special type of we uh, universal universal motor is run on as AC supply, and these are series wounded. So these AC series motor is also series wounded motor, and the armature and field winding they are in series. So hence produce the high starting torque. So motor produce a high starting torque. That's why universal motor generally comes built into the device that are meant to drive. So this AC series motor we generally come to build into the device for the use of the drive purpose. And the most of the universal motor are designed to operate the high speed exceed more than 3500 rpm. So that's why we use this motor, because we have need the high speed. So this AC series motor, so they run at lower speed on AC supply, then they are run at DC supply of same voltage due to the reactance voltage drop which are present in the AC are not in DC. So this AC series motor are of the compensated type or uncompensated motor. So this construction of universal or AC series motor is very similar to the construction of DC machine, and it is consist of stator on which the field poles are mounted, and the field coils are wound on the field poles, and whole magnetic paths is laminated. So lamination is necessary to minimize the eddy current losses which is induced while the operating and AC voltage. And this AC series motor is the rotary armature is wound type, having the straight and skew slot are there, and commutator with brushes resting into it. So the commutation on the AC is poorer than the DC. So because of this, current induced in the armature coils. So for this reason, uh, brushes are used having the high resistance. So high resistance brushes are used for this uh, current induced armature coil. So this is the working principle of the AC series motor. So this universal motor, AC series motor is also called as a universal motor. So universal motor work on the either DC or the AC supply signal. When the universal motor is fed into the DC supply, it works as a DC motor, and we fed to the AC supply, it's called as a AC series motor. When the current flows in the field winding, it produces an electromagnetic field, and with the help of this electromagnetic field, rotor will be rotate. So the same current flow from the armature conductor, and when the current carrying conductor is placed in the electromagnetic field, it experiences a mechanical force, means rotating force. So due to this mechanical force or torque, the rotor start will rotate, and the direction of this force is given by Fleming's left hand rule. And when fed with the AC supply, it still produces the unidirectional torque, because armature winding and field winding are connected in series, they are in same phase, and hence the polarity of AC changes periodically. The direction of the current in the armature and the field windings are resolved at the same time. So the this polarity of AC changes periodically. That at that time the direction of the current in armature and the field winding reverse at the same time. means when when the negative is there at a time, it will change reverse, means it will change the direction of your current and field winding. Thus the direction of magnetic field and the direction of armature current reverse in such a way that the direction of force experienced by a armature conductor remain same. So thus the regardless of AC or DC supply, the universal motor work on the same principle that the series motor work. So this series AC speed AC series motor low at full load and high at no load. So when the we no load no load at that time, the speed is very high, and the full load the speed is very low. So usually gear trains are used to get the required speed on required load. So the speed load characteristic are shown in the figure. So the advantage of the AC series motor, the weight difference is huge. Torque goes clear down, stall torque. Then it has lower cost. Variable speeds is there. It run from AC supply or DC supply both, and it is cheaper motor. So, and the disadvantage of the AC series motor is it is not easy to reverse the motor. So non-reversible motor is there, and it is a noisy motor. And the application of AC series motor, this find their use in the various home appliances like vacuum cleaner, uh, drink and food mixers, then domestic sewing machines, and higher rating universal motors are used in the portable drills and benders. So these are the know all about the AC series motor. Next motor we have to see about the now we see more the hysteresis motor. So in the hysteresis motor, so it is a synchronous motor with uniform air gap. This is the one type of the synchronous motor with uniform air gap, and it without the DC excitation. Here we not use the DC excitation here, and it operates from the single phase or three phase supply. Means this motor is used operate at single phase as well as three phase supply. This synchronous motor produce torque produced due to the hysteresis and eddy current losses. Hysteresis and eddy current losses are induced in the rotor. So that's why the torque will be produced. In the hysteresis motor, the stator consists of, or stator is similar to the induction motor stator. So this in the stator construction, it is similar to the induction motor, and it is connected either to single phase or a three phase. And in the single phase, stator winding is permanent split capacitor type. So in the single phase, when we supply the single phase, at that time this stator winding is operate as a permanent split capacitor type. Permanent split capacitor type. So this is the rotor construction. So this is a magnetic special magnetic material, hysteresis ring. This is the non-magnetic material, and this is the shaft. The circular shaft is there, and this shaft, in between shaft and hysteresis ring, the non-magnetic material will be induced or will be available in the rotor. So the time the your rotor will be rotate. So the in that rotor the core is which are used, the aluminum or other non-magnetic material core is used, and in the outer layer the thin ring of the laminated rotor is there, and the smooth cylinder is there with no winding. So you see in the picture that this is the smooth cylinder are connected with the shaft. This is the hysteresis loop. This hysteresis loop is relation between the induced magnetic field, magnetic flux density, and the magnetizing force. So B is the magnetic field density and H is the magnetizing force. So a ferromagnetic material that has been never been previously magnetized or has been truly demagnetized will follow the dashes line. So this dash line indicate that this is a demagnetized, and when the H is increased, your B will be at a time here H and B is are same. So at that time both are high. So at point A, this is the point A, all the magnetic domains are aligned and the materials are reached to the point of magnetic saturation. This position is get in the saturation mode, and the H is reduced. Then H is reduced to 0, and the curve will be move from A to B. Curve will move from A to B. So this is the B. Some of the magnet domains remain aligned, but some has lost their alignment. The magnetizing force is reversed, then curve will be moved to C, where the flux has been reduced to 0. At that time, the flux will be reduced to 0. At that time, it goes to the point, move to the point C, and this point is called as a point of coercivity of the curve. The magnetizing force is increased in the negative direction. The material will be again become the magnetically saturated, but in the opposite direction. So at that point of D, so it will be somewhat decreasing in the direction from A to D. So this is the this point is the saturation in the opposite direction. That means your hysteresis loop is at saturation mode here. So then the reducing H to 0 bring the curve point E. It will be have a level of residual magnetism equal to the achieved to the other direction. So increase in the H back in the positive direction, and it will begin return to B and to 0. So here B at B is 0, here H is 0, and some B is there, negative B is there, and then it becomes to then again at position where H is 0. H is 0 and B is also 0. So the curve did not return their origin to the graph because some of the force is required to remove the residual magnetism. So the curve will take a different path from point F back to the saturation point where it will complete the loop. So this loop is not returned to the origin of the graph. It has some force is required to make it to 0. So that's why it go to the point F, not point to the 0. Okay. So this shape or this loop is called as a hysteresis loop. And the operation of the hysteresis motor, the 3-phase or single phase supply is applied to the rotor, and the rotating magnetic field is produced. So this is the stator flux, and this is the magnetic pole established in this there. So here, suppose in the stator flux, N will be produced and N and S is produced. Though here opposite poles are produced in the your magnetic poles in the rotor. So, with the help of this, the rotor will be rotating. So, in this rotor poles follow the rotating flux, but lag behind the angle del H. So here, angle del H will be appear due to the pole inside the poles. So the rotating magnetic field induced in the pole within it, and the induced rotor flux lag behind the rotating stator flux. So the angle between the stator and rotor magnetic field is responsible for the production of the torque. So this angle make up, or this angle produce the torque in the motor. So the angle depend upon the shape of the hysteresis loop, independent on the frequency, and the additional torque due to the eddy current losses is there. So due to this eddy current losses, your eddy current of hysteresis losses, your motor will be rotated, or rotor will be rotating. So the uh, ideal material would have the rectangular hysteresis loop. The ordinary steel is not suitable as they are resembling loop 3. So cobalt, vanadium type of material are used as they have loop according to this two, which is approximately loop 1. So you said that this is a loop 1, this is a loop 2, and this is a loop 3. So ordinary steel which are used, they are not suitable for this loop 3. So they are suitable in loop uh, 2 itself, and the which are used in the cobalt vanadium type of material, they are used have a loop according to loop 2, but which are approximately loop 1. So these are in this case which are used the various type of material to have the various hysteresis loop. So these are the some equations of eddy current losses. So this is the eddy current loss is given by P is equal to PE is equal to KE F square into B square, where K is a constant and F2 is the frequency of eddy current and B is the flux density. F2 is equal to S into F1, where S is the slip and F1 is the stator frequency. So therefore, we have to put the value of F2 in terms of F1. So K is equal to P is equal to K into S square into F1 square into B square. So this is the equation of eddy current loss. Eddy current loss is denoted as PE. Okay. Then torque is given. Torque is given also. So constant torque, eddy current torque is Te is equal to PE upon S into WS. S into WS, where Te is equal to K dash into S. So here K dash is equal to KE F1 square into B square upon WS. So this is the constant term. This is the constant term K dash. And the torque due to the hysteresis loss. So hysteresis loss is given by PH is equal to KH into F2 into B to the power 1.6. So here we also put the value of F2 is equal to S into F1. So the pH is equal to KH into S into F1 into B to the power 1.6. And the torque due to hysteresis is given by TH is equal to PH upon S into omega S, and TH is equal to KH into F1 into B to the power 1.6 into 1.6 upon omega S. So it is clear that the torque is proportional to the slip Therefore, as the speed of rotor increases, the value of T decreases as the speed of the motor reaches synchronous speed, and the slip becomes zero, and the torque also become zero. So as the electromagnetic torque is developed by the motor is because of the hysteresis loss, and the remain constant at all rotor speed until the breakdown torque is occur. At the same time, the synchronous speed, the eddy current at the synchronous speed, the eddy current torque is zero, and only the torque due to the hysteresis loss is present. So due to this hysteresis loss, your motor will be run. So this is the load torque speed characteristic of the hysteresis motor. So when the torque start, your speed will be zero, and at this point one, there will be identical torque, identical characteristic is there, and this is the practical characteristic. This curve 2 is the practical characteristic, and curve 1 is the ideal characteristic. So ideal torque speed curve is shown in the figure by the curve 1, and for practical hysteresis motor, curve 2. So the deviation for ideal characteristic is due to presence of harmonic, and torque is constant at high speed including synchronous speed. So the advantage of hysteresis motor: smooth, vibration free operation, low noise, steady state speed is directly controlled by the electrical input frequency, positive starting, and the constant torque is there. So this is the smooth and vibration free motor, and it has very low noise is there, and the steady state speed is directly controlled by the electrical input frequency. So with the frequency, we can vary the speed of the hysteresis motor, and it has positive starting. That means here non-zero torque is at rest. Means here you are at the starting, directly torque is there, so and constant torque is there, so it is not jerking. And the disadvantage of this hysteresis motor: it has low efficiency, it has low power, hunting, and the for adding devices. So in the clock, we use the hysteresis law, hysteresis motor. So this so we are using the hysteresis motor, and the other present audio equipment, this device and this motor is used. Okay, so this all about the hysteresis motor. Understood, all of you? So give the attendance, everyone. In the next class, we will learn about the repulsion motor. In 2 to 3 lecture, this unit will be end, or 1 to 2 lectures, this unit will be end. Okay. So give the attendance. Everyone should fill the attendance.
ये कंप्लीट करना था।